Well, hello again. Now, a couple of members of the tinfoil hat brigade have recently been spruiking George Adamski as being somebody worth listening to. They say that his film footage is of genuine alien spacecraft. And of course, neither are true. Any competent researcher would have put a line through George Adamski a very long time ago. I know I certainly did. Now, if we look at this is a George Adamski UFO contactee image, and we can see it's got a convenient little ring in the top there. That's so that you know, if you wanted to film this in your garden, in your backyard, for example, if you've got a couple of trees in your backyard, you could put a bit of fishing line through here. You could tie it to a branch on a tree, set your camera up, and then you would stand out of shot, and you would jerk the fishing line, drape the fishing line over the branch of another tree, and you would just stand out of shot and jerk it around, and you would get this thing sort of jerking around, very much like the Adamski video footage. Now, this is very typically a 1950s science fiction flying saucer design. This one also appears to be hollow. We can see right through it. We can see there's the light coming through one of the portholes on the other side. So this is just an empty can. I think it was analysed at the time and determined to be the top of a tobacco humidor with some ping pong balls glued underneath. This is the George Adamski. Now let's just have a quick look at this masterpiece here. This masterpiece in action. Stand by. We'll just have a look at this masterpiece in action. So here we go. And I'll put a link to this video below. It's not very long. It's only 31 seconds. So credit to the channel that posted this. Now, the first thing we notice about it is typical of all UFO footage, certainly of the UFO footage of the time. It's terrible quality, absolutely awful quality, isn't it? Now remember, when we looked at our black and white image of this thing, it's got a little ring on the top of it, and if you put a bit of fishing line through it, it has to be terrible quality, of course, so you don't see the fishing line. Put a bit of fishing line through the hole in the little ring on the top, tie it off to a branch, set your camera up over here towards me, of course. The fishing line would then go over to a branch on the tree that's just out of shot to the right, and you would stand there and you would jerk the fishing line around and you would get this effect. Okay, let's have a look at it. God. So this is beyond amateurish garbage, isn't it, really? I mean, it's offensive to anybody with an IQ bigger than their shoe size. Sorry, George, I'm afraid you're not convincing me this is an alien spacecraft. You see, the thing is too that if it had a bit of fishing line going through a little ring on the top of it from a tree there to a tree there, and you were manipulating it with the fishing line, it would stay here. Notice it's not flying off into the distance, it's not hovering perfectly horizontally, it's not doing anything that would suggest that it's a sophisticated flying machine under intelligent control. This looks like the lid of a tobacco humidor held up on a bit of fishing line and jiggled around by a con man. And you can also see, I actually missed it, I think. You can actually see where it goes by the under there we go. Okay. And there you can see it's not a big spacecraft over, you know, in the distance. This is very small. So it's the top of a tobacco humidor because you can tell it's under the branches. It's below the branches of the tree here. So it's pretty obvious what he's done. I think this guy probably inspired Billy Meyer with these beam ships from the beam ships from the Pleiades. Okay, now fishing line from this tree up here, across here, tree that's out of shot. Adamski out of shot, jiggling the fishing line around. Offensive rubbish. Absolute bloody rubbish. All right, well, let's have a look at a... and you can see again, it's in front of the trees, isn't it? Look, you just missed it where it dipped down there, but it's in front of these. It's in front of the treetops. This is a small object, close to the camera. Okay, so obvious, very obvious fake. Sorry, George, doesn't cut the mustard. All right, well, let's have a look at something a little bit more impressive. Now, I thought this one was quite good. This one is another George Adamski image. Now, when I looked at that, I bet you can guess what I thought this was immediately. What this immediately suggests to me. Okay, so if you look at there's a circle, a bright circle, yeah, in the background. I'd say that's an angle poise lamp, and it's pointing at the camera. And what this is a mouth organ. This is a mouth organ with an angle poise lamp behind it, shining light through it. And if you notice, the edges of the mouth organ are tapering. Okay, this is a bloody mouth organ with an angle poise lamp shining light through it. Obvious fake. A cheese and pickle sandwich could determine this image is a fake in about 4 picoseconds. Okay, so let's just have a look at just to sort of drive the point home. Let's just have a look at some mouth organs. And and we can see that the mouth organs taper towards the end. I mean, that's a pretty good one there. See the tapering towards the end there. Imagine an angle poise light behind that shining through here. All of them seem to have this. All of them seem to have the tapering at the edges, you know, to make them easier to hold. That's a bit more right angled there, a bit more angular. But that's a sloping edge there and a sloping edge there. I reckon if I spent enough time I could find the actual model he used, the actual model of mouth organ he used for his fake UFO video. And that one there's not bad either. That's sort of tapering down there and there. Yeah, very obvious fake. I think you would have to be a complete moron to even consider that might have been an alien spacecraft. There we go. Look at the tapering down there. Tapering down there. Another one there, tapering down at the ends. They all seem to do it. You know, some have the angular ends, and some have the sort of Adamski ends here. And there's another one there. Like, yeah. So I would say, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, what he's done there is get a mouth organ, hold it up with a bit of fishing line again. The focus isn't great because he's got to hide the fishing line that's supporting the mouth organ. And angle poise lamp, as you can see, it's a circle behind it. It's an illuminated disc behind it, so it's an angle poise lamp shining light through a mouth organ. All right, well, I think that's probably enough debunking from Mr. Adamski. As I say, I put a line through Adamski a very long time ago. If you read anything about him, all it says is he's a con man and a fraud. I think he claimed he visited other planets. It's just the guy that visited the Venusians. Anyway. Anyway, just a short video, just a little short 10-minute video there, just a few quick words on George Adamski, the famous UFO fraudster. Was he a fraudster? Was he a prankster? The difference, of course, is if he's a fraudster, he would have made money out of it. If he was a prankster, of course, he'd have made nothing out of it. Just had a bit of a grin at the expense of the imbeciles that took him seriously. All right, well, that's just a short video on George Adamski. So I hope you found that interesting or amusing or both. And thanks for watching, as always. Perhaps I'll catch you again.